Cooking Kitchen. This week's recipe is gingerbread cake. And not just any old gingerbread cake, this gingerbread cake is in fact a recipe from the Victorian era, brought to us by the infamous Mrs. Crocombe. Now, Mrs. Crocombe was a real-life individual, and you can also see a historical actor reenact her recipe making at the YouTube channel English Heritage. And this is done by the spectacular Kathy Hipperson. If you're into sorts of historical recipes and this kind of thing, you might want to check out a couple other channels such as John Townsends and Tasting History with Max Miller. Why gingerbread cake? Well, this past December I had a bit of time to experiment with a few cakes here and there, and when I stumbled upon this recipe, the simplicity of this really struck me. It also brought up back some nice memories of when I was growing up, and I believe at that time we probably would have been eating gingerbread out of a box, the McCormick variety if I'm not mistaken. So there's that sentimental element to it, but needless to say that this recipe we're about to create is far superior to that. So with that Food Network sentimental memory plug out of the way, I think we're ready to get baking. For this recipe, you will need butter, brown sugar, ground ginger, eggs, all-purpose flour, molasses or treacle, warm milk, and bicarbonate of soda. Oh yes, and some rum. Can't forget the rum. As with any great recipe, we're going to start by creaming the butter, which is hopefully at room temperature, because if it is not, your life will be a great pain. I'm using a spatula, but you can use a spoon. Do what you want. That's going to be followed up by the addition of some brown sugar and the ground ginger. If this were some other gingerbread recipe, you might add the ground ginger at the same time as your flour and other spices. Not so here, but that's okay. You're going to just cream that all together until you get this kind of peanut buttery looking consistency. That's going to be followed up by lightly beating your 3 eggs and adding that to the mixture as well. Your eggs might not be at room temperature, not a problem. All that means is that you're not going to get the same sort of homogeneous texture that you had with your peanut buttery looking mixture. Oh, and look at that, we are in warp speed now. You're going to alternate adding the flour and the molasses back and forth and back and forth. And you're going to attempt to conclude with an addition of flour, your dry ingredients. I'm not quite sure why that is. It's just what I read online. So we're going to go with that. I'm also using my hands here, and that might seem like a very unhygienic practice, but it's what they did in the original recipe. And so long as you wash your hands thoroughly before you start cooking, I don't think this is a problem. You can also use this as, I don't know, some sort of family bonding experience, get the kids on here, get their hands dirty. Some fun, some interactive play. I don't know, I don't have kids. I just like gingerbread. Next, you're going to add your bicarbonate of soda to your bit of warm milk. And you're going to stir that up really quickly and add that to your gingerbread mixture post-haste, because that is going to expand very rapidly. Now the point of this isn't to change the viscosity of the gingerbread mixture, it's really just to ensure that there's an even distribution of that bicarbonate of soda through the milk. Yeah, that's all that's for. And now you're going to place that in your 8 by 12 inch pan that has been greased and parchmented. And then you're going to stick all of that into your oven, which has been preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit for anywhere from 35 to 50 minutes or so. The original recipe called for a full hour. I found that to be kind of excessive. But just keep your eye on it, keep watch over it, make sure it's not catching fire, all those good things. And now we're gonna check out, whoa, that was close, could have burnt ourselves. Always wear your oven mitts. And here we have a beautiful browned gingerbread. And for our final step, we are going to brush on some rum. This is mostly just to keep in some moisture and add a bit of moisture to it. I'm not trying to get it to be sloshed here. And at last, we get to sample our gingerbread. This gingerbread's rather smooth, not crumbly, has a clear ginger flavor, and isn't cloy, but pleasantly sweet. So there you have it, gingerbread cake, brought to you through the Victorian era and the infamous Mrs. Crocombe. It came out splendidly. It's a very simple recipe, but it really goes a long way. A hearty portion that lasts a long while. Yeah, so thank you for joining us on this week's edition of Keaton's Cooking Kitchen. Hope to see you again. Farewell.